Not a lot of developers can do size and scale quite as well as Bethesda Game Studios, and Starfield is taking even that to entirely new heights. The upcoming spacefaring RPG is said to be a mind-bogglingly massive experience, which of course means that there's no shortage of interesting details about the many things that the game will encapsulate. We've already spoken about quite a few of those details here at GamingBolt, but there's still plenty left to talk about. Here, that's exactly what we'll be doing. Timeline details. The rich lore and backstory of BGS RPGs is something we can never quite get enough of, and recently the developer shared a timeline detailing nearly 300 years of backstory leading up to the events of Starfield. The game is set in the year 2330, and the timeline begins in 2050 when humans first land on Mars, before having colonized space 50 years later by 2100. The timeline also covers humanity's arrival in the Alpha Centauri system in 2156, where the United Colonies, the largest established governments in the settled systems, is established in the year 2159. The city of New Atlantis is founded on the planet Jemison in 2160 before becoming the official capital of UC in 2161. More timeline details. The history of other core factions is also detailed in the timeline that Bethesda recently revealed, like the Freestar Collective, the second largest established government in the settled systems, which is officially founded in 2188 in its capital, Aquila City. A conflict between the two factions comes to a head in 2196 and is dubbed the Narian War. After dragging on for 20 years, the Narian War is resolved when the two sign a treaty and the settled systems are officially formalized by law. Constellation, a faction of explorers that will be central to Starfield's main story, is established in 2275, while in 2307, UC and the Freestar Collective come into conflict again, beginning the Colony War. This war, however, doesn't last nearly as long as the last one, and officially ends in the year 2311, roughly 2 decades before Starfield's events kick off. Player housing. Player housing is generally an excellent bonus, but in massive games that let you thoroughly immerse yourself in their realities, it almost becomes something of a necessity. Of course, it's also something that Bethesda is big on, and that's going to be doubly true in Starfield. The developers have confirmed that players can get houses in every major city in the game. Some of those have to be purchased, while some are earned by completing quests. Backgrounds and traits. BGS has spent plenty of time talking about how Starfield will allow players to shape their characters by selecting backgrounds and traits for them. From determining a brief backstory for your character, to granting unique perks based on that backstory, to adding additional gameplay or story-related perks, backgrounds and traits will give you plenty of control over the sort of character you want to shape. You can, however, also make a character with no background or traits whatsoever, and play through all of Starfield as a complete blank slate. Kid Stuff trait. One of several traits that players will be able to choose for their character is Kid Stuff, which will add your parents as characters in the game that you can go and visit, and routinely send money to. In fact, BGS has also confirmed that similar to how your dad's face in Fallout 3 or your son's face in Fallout 4 was based on what you made your character look like, your parents' faces in Starfield will also be different and be based on your character's custom appearance. Contraband system. In Starfield's massive setting, players are going to have the freedom to be any number of different things. For those less inclined to abide by the laws of the settled system, being a smuggler is very much on the table as well. But how exactly will the law push back against your smuggling activities? That's where the contraband system comes in, where certain items will be considered contraband no matter where you go. Anytime you fly close to a major settlement, security ships in orbit will scan your cargo for contraband, which means aspiring smugglers will have to purchase special ship modules that can hide illegal possessions from those scans. Contraband can be sold for high profits, and though the economy of items will remain fixed, players will be able to fetch higher prices by unlocking and upgrading certain skills. Jail system. This one shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone who's played a BGS game, but yes, Starfield will have a jail system as well. Anytime you're caught committing a crime, you'll have the option to either pay a fine or go to jail and serve whatever your sentence you've managed to build up through your actions. Of course, you'll also have the option to resist arrest and make a run for it. Pacifist playthrough not possible. Anytime a game emphasizes choice and consequence mechanics the way that most BGS games do, and the way that Starfield's going, the question of whether a pacifist, non-lethal playthrough will be possible comes up. Where Starfield is concerned, the developers have said it won't be, though players will be able to avoid killing characters in several situations through either using non-lethal weapons or through persuasion checks and dialogue options. A fully non-lethal playthrough won't be possible. Faction quests. There's plenty of different factions scattered throughout the settled systems, and their different goals and motivations will often bring them in conflicts with each other. So does that mean you'll only be able to align yourself with one or the other? Well, not exactly. Like most BGS titles, Starfield will let you play and complete faction quests independently of each other. In some cases, however, there might be certain points where two factions come into direct conflict, and you're forced to make a choice, like infiltrating the Crimson Fleet as an undercover agent for the UC and eventually having to decide which one of them you want to side with. Recruitable companions. Companions have traditionally played an important role in Bethesda Game Studios titles, but with Starfield, it seems the developer is putting an even greater emphasis on them. In a recent Q&A on Discord, design director Emil Paglarulo said, "When we first began Starfield pre-production, we looked back at our previous games and we realized how popular and effective the companions were. So they were a big priority for us, and we really wanted to tie them directly to the main quest. There are some really big moments with them specifically." In total, there will be 20 named recruitable companions in Starfield, though not all of them will be equally important. Which brings us to our next point. Constellation companions. Of the 20 named recruitable companions in Starfield, 4 will be the most important and will have the most story-related interactions with the player, and all 4 will be Constellation members. That said, every named companion will have their own unique backgrounds and will be able to accompany you when you're out exploring. Crew members and outposts. Building outposts is going to be a major feature in Starfield, which we've known for a while. While players will be able to hire and assign crew members to different outposts to ensure their maintenance, how exactly will that work as a transaction though? According to the devs, you won't have to worry about paying them regular salaries, and will instead pay them a one-time upfront cost. Using speech checkmarks or certain skills, you'll also be able to negotiate lower payments. Companion skills. All of your companions and crew members in Starfield will also come with unique skills of their own that will apply to things related to combat and your ship, from being proficient with certain weapons to giving a boost to your ship's shields and more. While it won't be possible to upgrade their skills with time, their skills will, when relevant, stack with yours, which means that will be something that you can choose to factor into your strategy when deciding the makeup of your party. Or you could just go at it alone and have no companions, that's alright too. Preloading. Starfield is right around the corner now, with a global launch set for September 6th, though Premium or Constellation owners will get access 6 days early, on August 31st. Xbox Series X and S players can already preload the game, as can PC players who'll be playing through the Windows Store. Meanwhile, if you intend to play Starfield through Steam, you'll have to wait for preloading to become available until August 30th, a day before the game's early access release. Given the game's size, you'll definitely want to get the game downloaded and installed way ahead of its time. On Xbox Series X and S, the game is 100.19 gigabytes. Meanwhile, on PC, it's 125 gigabytes if you play via Steam, and a whopping 139.84 gigabytes if you play via the Windows Store. Hey, did you know that we at GamingBolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell, and let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.